you very much.
Thank you so much. This is Mordecai Murisa TV. You know, when I left mainstream media, I decided...
TV.
TV ya Mordecai Murisa.
Very glad to be here on Mordecai Murisa TV.
Interview yange ne President wa National Unity Platform era Senkulu wa People Power ng'ekisinde Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu yazannya olunaku olw'eggulo saawa emu ey'okumakya obudde obw'e Uganda. Mwebale nnyo okubeera nga mwagirabye, yabadde mu Lungereza. Nenga bwe nayogera ne mbagamba nti interview eno yali mu Lungereza, bangi bagamba ate ffe ab'olulimi Oluganda ogenda kutufaako, lwaki totukolerayo naffe akaffe? Ne ngamba why totumye weesitukidde kati ke kana akaseera ngenda kuyita mu bibuuzo ebyo nga ngezaako okubimenyamenya n'okubyongerezaako akazigo ku bye yayogera. So weebale nnyo. Naye nga sindaba kubeera nga nkugamba ekyo kubanga tugendawo, njagala okujjukiza subscribinga ku channel. Ndowooza President mwamulabye nga abagamba nti bannaye mubeere ku Mordecai Murisa TV. Kikira kyoyagala yakugambye subscribinga. Waliwo ndowooza gabi bamuyita ndowooza Gavaris John namulabye yagambye nti sajja gwonkubye point, ndaba content wo yenna naye si subscribinganga kati kankikole. Please, engeri emu gy'osobola okulaga obuwagizi olw'emirimu gye nkola si kubeera onogamba musajja gwe oyogera ebigambo eby'amagezi. Si ekyo kyokka. 1, kusubscribinga. Ekyokubiri, kugabana zino emboozi, kulikinga na commentinga. Ebyo bye bigezaako okulaga obuwagizi, si bigambo. Okay? So teekako subscription ku YouTube channel. Ate mbebaza, twakaweza omutwalo gye buvuddeko, naye kati ndowooza tuli mu mutwalo gumu n'abantu 700. Twagala kuweza mitwalo 2, ye mission y'abantu emitwalo 2. Kigenda tutwalira bbanga kikisinziira gwe obwagazi bw'onaaba olaze. So kikole, weebale nnyo, weebalire ddala. Kati katukole tuti ate ntandika ekibuuzo ku kibuuzo nga ngezaako okukivuunula okukizza mu Luganda.
You're watching Mordecai Murisa Political Commentary. Please consider subscribing to help grow Uganda's Voices of Struggle ecosystem. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're watching from. My name is Mordecai Murisa. Happy once again to share this platform with a very wonderful man that needs no introduction. But for maybe someone who might be watching it for the first time, I'm with the president himself, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Happy to see you, sir.
Pleasure is all mine, sir.
After so many years.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to start with saying thank you so much for the sacrifices you make for our country and for the motivation and inspiration to us all.
Well, I think other people should be thanked more. I'm only a culmination of all their efforts.
Yeah.
So it's too much credit being given to me. I would rather it's given to those unsung heroes. Yeah.
That's very humble.
All right, nga bw'olabye ntandika mubuuza mugamba nti weebale nnyo olwa saddaaka n'okutusikiriza olw'ebyokola. Mukwanukula agamba nti waayi ndi mirimu gy'abo abalala gye bakoze okusiima kuteekeddwa kugenda eri abo abantu abatalabibwa, babayita ba unsung heroes, abazira, abatayimbibwa, abatasuutibwa. Ayogera ku baani? Gwali eyo amuwagira ng'osinziira Middle East, osinziira South Africa, osinziira Europe oba Bungereza, Europe oba North America, oyinza okuba nga oli mu Uganda, gwe gwakwata akasente n'owagira enteekateeka z'ekibiina ki National Unity Platform, gwalonda ababaka aba NUP, gwabunyisa enjiri, gwatambuza ebipande, mwe ba unsung heroes. Ffe we tutali talina kyasobola kukola, ye aliwo ng'omukulembeze okulaba ng'atwala ebirowoozo byaffe mu maaso. So ekyo kwe kumugamba nti that's very humble, kiraga obukkakkamu mu ndaba yange ey'ebintu. Ekibuuzo ekyokubiri namubuuza.
Well, let me start with asking you about the journey of our struggle for liberation. It's been more than 40 years, almost 40 years. And to a certain extent, some people are demotivated. They think, maybe it's not going to work. They're almost on the verge of giving up. Do you think there's some areas of celebration we should look at? And do you think there's still more reason to push on? And what do we say to those people who think it's almost not going to work out?
Well, the first question should be, is it a just cause?
Yes.
And the answer is yes. And again, you ask yourself, does history show you any oppressed people anywhere in the world that have been oppressed forever? The answer is no. Then you ask, is there any such story as the rise and rise of a dictator? Never. It's the rise and fall. So that alone gives us hope. And I think hope is the most important thing that we must hold on to. It's what keeps us going through one day to another. It's absolutely been so long, painstakingly long. This struggle did not start with us. Many of us were still lost in our bliss, while those that came before us saw the way and went the way and went ahead to show us the way. And now here we are. That alone, that those that started did not give up and handed over the baton to us, is reason that the struggle is reason for us to recognize that the struggle is not a sprint, it's a marathon, and we must keep going. True, many people are disheartened, many people are frustrated, many people are demoralized, many have given up because they've seen their friends die, go to jail, tortured in the most humiliating ways. Some have run into exile, like yourself. But the struggle continues. So for me, I am hopeful. Hopeful for some few but very, very, very paramount reasons. The fact that many people are awakened, the fact that people refuse to give up. Not giving up is victory. Not giving up alone is victory. So yes, you ask me whether there's reason to celebrate. Absolutely. We are not where we want to be, Mordecai, but we are certainly not where we used to be. The fact that you and I are meeting and you're not interviewing me about my music, you're not interviewing me about business or about how to build a business empire, but you're interviewing me about the future of Uganda. That alone is a success. To see that a one Eddie Mutwe, a one Aitawa, a one Gaddafi, and all these other young men and women who used to talk about how to pickpocket, or Arsenal and Manchester United, or which boxer is the best. Now they're talking about the future of Uganda and discussing parliamentary affairs. That is victory. So yes, these small victories are worth celebrating as we struggle for the big one. I've always told my comrades that we should not wait for full liberation and freedom for us to celebrate, because some of us might not even cross the finish line. But we choose to celebrate all along the way, to celebrate the fact that we're not giving up.
Nga bw'olabye mugamba nti waliwo tuteekeddwa okujaguza mu ngeri emu oba endala. What is that to celebrate? Tetunnaba kubeera nga ebbanga libadde ppanvu nga bw'agambye, painstakingly so long. Mu bulumi okuva Museveni yajja mu buyinza, abantu bagezaako okumujja mu buyinza mu ngeri zonna, kubanga eggwanga lyaffe alittattanye. N'agamba kituufu ebbanga libadde ppanvu. Naye n'abuuza binene ebibuuzo, ayinza okuba nga ogenda kuggwamu amaanyi. Abuuziza nti is it a just cause? Kino kye tugoba ddala kya muzinzi, kya mulamwa kye tuliko, kye twagala okulaba mu Uganda kirimu omulamwa? Ekyokuddamu kiri nti ye kirimu omulamwa. Ekibuuzo ekyokubiri n'abuuza nti waliwo ebyafaayo byonna bye wali osomyeko mu nsi yonna ng'abantu baali banyigiriziddwa nakyemalira oba embeera embi lubeerera? N'agamba tekirinawo ekyali kibadde. Ekibuuzo ekyokusatu n'abuuza nti wali osomyeko awantu wonna oba n'olabako awantu wonna obuwanguzi n'obuwanguzi, okukula n'okukula kw'embeera embi oba nakyemalira? Nedda. Byonna ebyafaayo bitulaze nti story ebeera okukula n'okugwa, rise and fall. So n'agamba nti kati awo bwe tulaba bino eno kiteekeddwa okubeera nga kituwa essuubi, eryo essuubi kwe twekwata ne tusigala nga tubunyisa oba tutambuza okuyaayaana okw'okulaba enkyukakyuka mu nnyaffe Uganda. Ekyo bwe kiri. Bonna tewali bw'ogenda n'osoma Benito Mussolini, n'osoma Adolf Hitler, n'ogenda ewa Pol Pot, n'ogenda ewa Idi Amin, n'ogenda wonna wali abantu abanyigiriza, tewali bukulembeze obufuzi obwamusibira mu bwo obubeerawo olubeerera. Buli kaseera abantu ab'endowooza ennungi basigala bafuba buli lunaku okulaba nga baleeta enkyukakyuka. Tewali we twali tusomye nti abantu banyigiriziddwa lubeerera. Akaseera kajja wentera bagambira ku bigambo ebya Martin Luther King Jr. bye yayogera nti the arc of moral universe is long but it bends towards justice. It is long but it's the most important word you have to care about, but it bends towards justice. Egomedda mu bwenkanya. Change takes a long time but it eventually happens. Nagamba oteekeddwa okukijjukira ekyo. Essuubi eryo buli lwolaba ebintu ebibadde mu mawanga ag'enjawulo okunyigirizibwa abantu ku bakoze n'ogenda n'olaba Yahya Jammeh oba Muammar Gaddafi emyaka 42 ng'afuga abantu be. Ne bwe baba bakutenda nti gwe omulungi akyasinze. Omanyi wala abantu bagamba Gaddafi abazungu baamulwanyisa baali tebamwagala yali ayagala kuzimba Africa. Kale tubawadde muwangudde argument eyo. Naye Gaddafi yali alowooza nti yasobola okukulembera eggwanga eryo emyaka 40 n'omusobyo. Newankubadde ayinza okuba alina ebirooto ebirungi. Naye gwe tewali bw'osobola kugamba nti nze mulungi nze zekka asobola okukulembera lino eggwanga. Emyaka 42 yamaliriza atya? Kwe kumubuuza ekibuuzo ekyokusatu. Kiba kyakusatu oba simanyina order. Mbuuza ku bantu bakwisa obusungu abavuma abawemula abantu abanyiivu olw'ebyo Museveni byabakoze. Ne mugamba osobola okubagamba bakkakkane. Nangamba Muliisa no. Sinnagamba bantu bakkakkane. Sinnaba kubagamba balekeraawo okunyiiga. Ekyo nedda. Nze njagala banyiige saagala bakkakkane. Naye njagala bajjukirenga buli kaseera. By the way, kankuzannyira ekyo.
Yesterday when you were giving a speech, you made a very, very clear statement. You didn't miss any word. You said that as we struggle, as we express ourselves, we should do it respectfully.
Yeah.
We cannot give what we don't have.
Yeah.
There's some folks who are they're not willing to calm down. They're not willing to tone down their, the frustration, their anger. I would like you to emphasize that because those folks, our opponents, usually look at us and be like, look at your comrade. And like you said, we make you being held accountable over our mistakes because you're our leader. So what would be your message to those folks out there who think that by saying the most outrageous things will be the one probably that will bring freedom?
For clarity, Mordecai, I did not say tone down your anger.
Oh, okay.
No, be angry. Yeah. Very, very angry. And please go ahead and express that anger. But while you're at it, be cautious that you are a representation of all of us. We are angry, very angry. But we must not allow the anger take the best of us. We must not allow our anger take over our ability to make a case for ourselves. Or else, they might, because they want, end up dividing us by our anger. We are very angry, but we are equally hopeful. So, do we want to be defined by our anger or by our hope?
Nga bw'okirabye agamba njagala bajjukirenga buli kaseera nti wakati mu bunyiivu oteekeddwa okujjukira nti otukiikirira. Nakubuuza nti oyagala kumanyika olw'obusungu bwo oba olw'essuubi oba olw'ebintu ebirungi. So akkiriza oli waddembe okunyiiga, oli waddembe okulaga obusungu bwo, oli waddembe okulaga obutali bumativu. Ne banoonyayo abantu abagenda okukola ebintu ebikyamu bagambe mubalaba people power. Beebo mubalaba baagala nkyukakyuka. Omanyi abantu balina obuzibu e Uganda, si bonna naye abantu bangi bendaba tebamanyi kye bayita kufumiitiriza, contemplation. Omuntu atuyinza otunya omuntu nga tugambe ayambadde enkofiira eno gye nyambadde ng'awemula. Laga akataabo be mwagala batufuge. N'omugamba mukwano. Oli gw'ogamba oli afuga ye nno tavuma. Atulugunya, awamba, atta, abuzaawo. Naye oli munyiivu nnyo olw'ekivumo n'okuwemula kw'oli. obusungu obwo nga tobulaga nga bawambye kakwenza lukira bashiija n'ogenda ku mukutu gwo n'ogamba mpulira obusungu nga tobulaga nga bawambye zaake ne bamukuba n'azimba face ne bamugamba mu yeerumya okutu nga tobulaga obusungu nga tobulaga nga bakubye Bobi ne bamumenya amagulu obusungu nga tobulaga nga paalamenti ezingiddwako aba SFC amagye paalamenti y'eggwanga neesalibwako amagye obwo obusungu nga tobulaga obusungu obwo nga tobulaga nga Museveni akuumidde gwe mu bwavu ab'omu njuyo eŋŋanda zo mu bwavu obusungu nga tobulaga nga mikwano gyo bajjudde mu ggwanga tebalina mirimu banoonya ngeri ya kusaba kasente wonna we basobola mpaayo zino mpolaayo obusungu nga tobulaga abantu bw'ogenda mu ddwaliro ng'ab'omu njuyo teri ddagala enguudo nga zonna zibomose obusungu obwo nga tobulaga lwaki oli mwangu nnyo okunyiigira omuntu awemudde ekiwemulo ekivumo kinene nnyo okusinga mukadde wagenda okugenda mu ddwaliro afe nga teri ddagala olina ekikyamu ku mutwe. Anyways, ne mubuuza ekibuuzo ekirala ku baana abeekalakasa gye buvuddeko bannayuganda ku nguzi.
Well, cynics have said you have to realize who you're up against. You're up against a dictator that's been in power for almost 40 years. He has everything. He owns almost all institutions in our country. He has the army. Then be like, you can't. You have to wake up from a slumber. They think that probably we're sleeping. We cannot do anything because he's got everything.
That's what Milton Obote told him. That's what Goliath told David. You know, that's what life threw to me and you when we were still in the ghetto. Yeah. You can't do nothing. Here we are. You know, here we are.
Yeah.
So, all the demotivating words in return motivate us. Because, like we've been told many times when we're growing up, that if your dreams don't scare you, then you're not dreaming big enough. Yeah.
If your dreams don't scare you, then you're not dreaming big enough. Yesterday when you were giving a speech, you made a very, very clear statement. You didn't miss any word. You said that as we struggle, as we express ourselves, we should do it respectfully.
Yeah.
We cannot give what we don't have.
Yeah.
There's some folks who are they're not willing to calm down. They're not willing to tone down their, the frustration, their anger. I would like you to emphasize that, because those folks, our opponents, usually look at us and be like, look at your comrade. And like you said, we make you being held accountable over our mistakes because you're our leader. So what would be your message to those folks out there who think that by saying the most outrageous things will be the one probably that will bring freedom?
For clarity, Mordecai, I did not say tone down your anger.
Oh, okay.
No, be angry. Yeah. Very, very angry. And please go ahead and express that anger. But while you're at it, be cautious that you are a representation of all of us. We are angry, very angry. But we must not allow the anger take the best of us. We must not allow our anger take over our ability to make a case for ourselves. Or else, they might, because they want, end up dividing us by our anger. We are very angry, but we are equally hopeful. So, do we want to be defined by our anger or by our hope?
Hope.
We are just as intelligent as angry. In fact, we are angry because we are intelligent. We are able to see through the lies, through the manipulation, through the misrule. We are that intelligent. That's why we are angry. They say ignorance is bliss. If we were happy about the situation about home, we would be damn fools. So we are angry because we are intelligent. But our intelligence should allow us to put intelligence over anger. To know that they are looking for any scapegoat. They are looking for anything to misrepresent us. So, now that we have the opportunity, let us put our best foot forward. Let us define ourselves before our adversaries define us.
Fear is a weapon used by an enemy to silence, to beat down his opponents. And a few years ago when I interviewed you, I asked you a question. Where did you get all this courage? I mean, you're up against this man and you asked me, why should I be afraid of this man? Who is he? And you were very clear, I remember, in the studios of Record Television. Now, I was inspired by young people in my country when they were marching against corruption in Uganda.
Yeah.
Some of them took it a little far. They wrote on their Twitter, they said, my name is so-and-so, I'm going to demonstrate.
Yes.
And if I die, tell my mom I've been fighting for my country.
Yes.
What's your message to a kid somewhere, a young person in Bushenyi where I was born, who is afraid to stand up against dictator Museveni because he's been told, you're nothing, you don't have anything?
Mordecai, you define me as courageous and as brave, but I think that's an overstatement. I'm not as courageous as you define me. I'm a human being. I get scared. I get worried.
Yeah.
Like anybody else. Maybe the word should be desperate. Because that's the truth. I'm just desperate. That my desire for freedom is stronger than my fear. I'm smart enough to know that whether afraid or not, there's no survival if I don't stand up. I gave you an example yesterday about our brothers and sisters in Chitezi, who are estimated to be in the hundreds that have died, covered by garbage. None of those was fighting Museveni when they faced the most humiliating death. No. But what killed them is because they didn't rise to the occasion. They didn't realize that they're just as unsafe as those that speak out. In fact, more unsafe. So, like I've shared it before, that it is dangerous to speak out against bad governance in Uganda, but it's even more dangerous to keep quiet about it, because you'll die without even having the honor of putting up a fight, you know. Dying in such a way you don't even go to heaven. I think. I don't want to I don't want to claim that I know so much about heaven.
Yeah.
But I believe that every human being with dignity must put up a fight against anything that dehumanizes them. So it's not bravery. It's running out of options. What do I say to the young people out there? Man, those young people challenge me. They challenge me.
Oh.
I honor them. I respect them. Those young people, many of them have the privilege to be coming from what some Ugandans define as the privileged tribes. But they put all that aside. They are tribeless. Some of them are privileged to come from good families. Their parents are not broke. They have school fees. They've been able to go through school. But they see the kind of country they're living in and they say, no man, this is not what we are educated for. So they rise to the occasion and speak out. Young people that are not even seeking political office, because very unfortunately, in many ways, the people that tend to come up to represent people, majority of them tend to be eyeing political office. And that seems to be their motivation. But these young people, looking at what motivates them, just wanting a better, corruption-free country, I salute them. Those young artists that speak out, knowing that it's risky for an artist to speak out. They speak out. They challenge us, their seniors, to speak out even more. I have nothing but respect for them and encourage them that what they're doing is moral and they will never regret it, and they're standing on the right side of history. And when 10, 20 years from now, when we're recollecting the history of Uganda and the struggles for freedom and liberty and democracy, there are their older selves or their children will be proud to carry their names. Because history is being written in real time, in color, and in motion picture.
Nga bw'olabye yeebaza olw'omutima ogwo n'agamba bannayuganda bangi ate abamu kwabo abaana abeekalakaasa abamu ku bo bali bulungi. Waliwo omuwala akola ku KFM yandibadde agamba nze nyina omulimu gwange nfaaki naye y'omu ku beekalakaasa neerabidde erinnya lye naye y'omu ku beekalakaasa olw'enguzi oyo ali mu sort of a privileged position mu Uganda. Standards ze Uganda omanyi bagamba nti oli bulungi mulisa okola ku NBS oli bulungi ovuga emmotoka oli bulungi kale katugamba ali bulungi nalabye pate mbu simanya bamuyitani Gashumba omuwala we yafunye emmotoka n'akola nze ayina emmotoka eno mu Uganda Uganda naye wali abantu abali bwe batyo naye bagamba partyless tetulina kibiina kye tulimu. Abamu ku bo bawagizi ba NRM taata baabwe bawagira NRM ne bagamba tribeless. Abamu ku bo bannankulu ba bannarwanda abali a little bit advantage. Of course sigamba nti eggwanga nga ggowaga amawanga gali advantageous naye abamu ku bo bayinza okuba balina connection mu corridors of power ne bagamba tetubiriiko. Abamu ku bo bagamba nti no tebalina nzikiza gye bagamba togenda gamba fe abasemi togenda kwekalakasa. Nagamba beebaza abaweekitiibwa olw'ekyo baakola naye mu kwogerako ne mugamba nali njogera ku buvumu na buli kimu kyakozesa kwe kungamba nti muliiso oli mukumpaga oli mu kugamba nti nze ndi courageous ndi muvumu. Naga siri muvumu nange ndi muntu ntya ntya. Nagamba naye ekigambo ky'osobola okukozesa maybe okunjogerako it is desperate. Njagayagga olw'enkyukakyuka. Omuntu ayaggayagga abeera asazeewo ng'agamba I'm going to a point of no return. Ngenda ekituukawo kituukewo. Then ne mubuuza ekibuuzo ekirala ku kyakalulu akajja.
Yeah, well, it's obvious everyone knows that you won the 2021 election and we're headed for 2026 election. Cynics again and optimists have always come out to say if you won the 2021 election and is going back to 2026 elections, isn't that a wastage of time? And according to sources, the National Unity Platform will participate in the 2021 election. Should we participate in this election?
My advice to any leader whose only resource is the people is that engage in every event that involves the people. How you engage in it is a different story, but engage in them. You clearly know that if Museveni has no competition, he's intending to bring another Katumba or another. He has a lot of stooges that he uses. So we hesitate to leave the people of Uganda in space. But also, we must know that an election alone is not the answer. If you are planning to just go into an election and get elected, unless if you just want to become a councillor, MOP, mayor, etc. But if we are to tilt the entire political landscape, then we have to aim for the man that has made himself God. An election alone is not enough. We have to do much, much more than just an election. You know, organize, mobilize, agitate, and then take action. What kind of action? I'll say the necessary.
NUP bwe bayetaba mu kalulu akaggwa nga tugamba babba kati watu lwaki yeetaba mu kalulu akalala kino omulamwa oli mu kutuzanyira ku mutwe kiki lwaki n'agamba nti Museveni bw'otagenda mu kalulu ako era agenda funa bakatumba oye naye n'agamba nti bw'oba nabyafuzi ng'omulimu gwo gwa kukyusa ggwanga oteekeddwa okukozesa buli mukisa oguliwo okulaba ng'otuuka eri abantu okozese omukisa ogwo okwogerako eri abantu kati omukisa ogwo ke kalulu naye notice n'agamba nti akalulu kokka tekajjaako mwami Museveni okuggyako ggwe ng'oluubirira bifo parliament simanya kansula naye bwe kitabeera ekyo akalulu kokka naye agamba tukagendamu kubanga guno mukisa mulala gwa kutuukirira bantu and rightly so omanyi ndowooza yali Ronald Reagan wano mu America yawangula akalulu mu 8 yawangula amasaza gonna ndowooza amasaza gonna okuggyako limu lyokka ndowooza yawangula akalulu mu masaza 49 aga America yandibadde agamba sigenda campaigning already banjagala no omukisa gw'okutuukirira abantu olina ogukozesa okwongera okubunyisa enjiri ey'ekyo ky'oyimirirako kati akalulu kazze so ensonga kya participatinga then nemubuuza ku njawukana mu opposition.
Well, as we get to an end of our interview, now that you talk about an election, let's look at the opposition. There's some sort of bickering that is never ending, very unending.
Well, what opposition?
I'm referring to the political parties.
No, that's I don't agree with that. I don't subscribe to that.
Yeah.
First, we don't look at ourselves as the opposition because we are not. We won the election. We are the option. But also, putting just words aside, those are just words being thrown around. Government, opposition. We don't have a government. We have a gang of thieves. We have a cabal that is plundering our country for as long as they can. We don't have a government. We don't have a political party called NRM. That's just a gang of thieves. What political party rules a nation for 40 years and does not even have one property that belongs to that political party? Where is their headquarters?
They don't have, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
How do they make their decisions? No, this is a family thing. Museveni, his wife, his brother, his son, his son-in-law, his daughters, etc. It's just a cabal. And of course a few hangers on that are benefiting from this plunder. Equally, we don't have what one would call an opposition. No, we just have forces of change. And forces of change are not necessarily the so-called political parties. No. Forces of change doesn't necessarily mean the so-called opposition political parties. No. Because some of them are just masquerading as people fighting the regime. But many people in the opposition, you know, are not many opposition politicians are not intending to put an end to the Museveni dictatorship. No. They are only trying to elevate their status in that dictatorship. And, you know, for as long as it benefits them, for as long as it sustains them, they won't want the situation to change. They don't want to disorganize things, you know. Many have said it some time ago that many leaders in the opposition are only concerned about their position. And they will fight any composition that threatens their position. And that is true. So for us, we like to look at it as forces of change. And these forces of change, yes, some of them are in the so-called opposition parties. But some of them are even within the regime. There are so many people in the regime, in the police, in the military, in the parliament that are closely working with the forces of change to free themselves. They are slaves within the system. How else do you think we survive police plots? You know how many times they've tried to assassinate me. How do you think I survive? How do you think I know the things inside the police or military? How do you think we know those corruption scandals that are so guarded secretly? But how do you think we know them? How do you think we know everything that Anita Mong does? Because there are many people, even within the regime. That's why I constantly encourage our comrades to be beckoning, to be inviting, to make us look attractive, even to people within the regime, so that they can work with us more confidently, knowing that we are not out to kill them or to exterminate them as soon as Museveni falls. We just want to build a better country. We know that some people are serving in the police and doing these things, only taking orders. In private, they tell us, they say, man, fight for us. So we're fighting for them as well. And yes, there's so many people. You'll find them dressed like myself in a beret. You'll find them dressed in other political party colors, but working for the regime. So we shouldn't just say, oh, opposition, government. No. Uganda is divided only in two sides, the oppressors and the oppressed, the eaters and the eaten.
Rightly so. No, Mulisa, nedda opposition. Tetulina opposition mu Uganda, tulina kye bayita forces of change. Ebiwayi by'enkyukakyuka. Ate ebyo ebiwayi oba obukundi bw'enkyukakyuka tebiri mu kye tuyita opposition mokka. Waliwo n'abamu abali mu NRM, waliwo abali mu majja, waliwo abali mu poliisi. N'agamba golooza mpona ntya okunkuba amasasi, mpona ntya manya ntya ebintu ebigenda mu maaso. Golooza tumanya tutya obubbi bw'enguzi obujjudde obufumbekedde parliament n'awalala. Ebyo bintu bifuna nga tubijja mu bantu abakola mu parliament, mu bantu abakola mu state house, mu bantu abakola abali mu majje n'ebitongole by'ebyokwerinda. Kati abo nabo bannankyukakyuka naye nga tebali mu ffe kye tuyita opposition. Nakati tulina opposition, tulina option kuba twawangula akalulu. I don't know whether you appreciate the coherence, the cohesiveness, ne coherency. Engeri gyayanukula. Kubanga wano si word salad. Museveni, obuuza Museveni ekibuuzo n'akwanukula bw'ati ayinza okudda eri. Now the interlacatrice region, simanya, obote, n'omugamba mukwano, mbuuziza kino ekibuuzo. Ne video gyenjagala obakwera Museveni baamukwata nga agezaako okulimba. Ngenda kukulaga ebigambo byamubula. Naye ekyo kisinziira ku butya bw'osubscribinze ku channel. Ekibuuzo ndowooza kye nasemba namubuuza ku bantu bagamba Bobi Wine mulaba nnyo e Chicago. Bobi Wine atambula n'agenda e Canada e Bungereza. Alowooza enkyukakyuka agenda gireeta mu Uganda ng'asinziira eyo. N'agamba ekituufu enkyukakyuka tuyinza obutagireeta Uganda nga tusinziira Chicago oba nga tusinziira Canada oba London oba wa. N'agamba naye tujja kuginafuya. And rightly so. Kwe kusaaga n'agamba nti oba obuusa akusesina kusaaga mazima. Bw'oba obuusabuusa tusobola okukola mawanga gano genda obuuza Anita Among. It was a very amazing interview.
Well, you're flying back to Uganda a few days from now. Actually, alluding to what you said, I think you made a very, very deep statement. You said, we have a political party, but we're not a political party.
Absolutely.
And that was very deep. You're flying back to Uganda a few days from now. I've seen comments on, of people who be like, are you going to change the government of Uganda from Chicago? Are you going to change it from Canada? Do these people realize the importance of these conventions? I mean, when I saw the full house of Ugandans who are yearning for change, celebrating and all attentive, listening to how best can we bring about change in our country. I'm like, do these people realize what they're trying to even downplay?
You see, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And one man in Uganda some time ago said that history doesn't repeat itself, it's fools that repeat history. So, I'll tell you that those people that try to downplay our international engagements, it's not because that they know that, it's not because that they don't work, but because they know how effective they are. You know, the Baganda say, anakugoba konswa, nditoli omulalo.
Yeah.
They are trying as much as possible to, to discourage us from what is actually effective. I'll tell you that historically, most of the struggles that have brought down dictators have had to work from within and from without. Yes, we're not going to bring down the dictatorship from Chicago or from London or from where. but we're going to weaken it from there. And because of time, I'll ask you to ask the rest of that question to Anita Amamo.
All right.
And you understand.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyways, congratulations, Council.
Thank you.
So please do subscribe to this feed, to this YouTube channel. Subscribe. Nga tunaweza mitwalo ebiri gye tuluubirira katuweze omutwalo ogumu ekitundu. Teekako subscription. Ogumu ekitundu tuguweze mu myezi egibulayo okumalako guno omwaka. Tubere emyezi emeka? Emyezi ebiri nekisoboka. Nalabye channel endaga nti abantu abali mu bitundu 40 abalaba content ono tebali subscribed. Really? Ebitundu 40. Omuntu najja n'alaba n'agamba kandabe video eno bwe mala ngende naye nga ku makyakera n'ateeka erinnya Mordecai Murisa mu YouTube. Naga nkuuliza nnyo nga ngenda ku mulimu. Mugamba oli subscribed? Ha mwana ebintu ebyo lwakwa bisumbuwa. Naggulawo please. Bagamba ky'oyagala kikuseeza katira gw'obuwagizi bw'otyo. Sharing a video, liking, teekako comment ku biki by'olowooza bino byonna. Nkwagaliza okubeera obulungi weeraba.
Did you enjoy what you just watched? I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Marissa YouTube channel? Thank you.